And as we head towards summer, I suppose one of the things that's certainly on my mind is, hey, maybe it's time to do some renovations. Maybe my house is looking a little bit tired, need to get the deck ready for summer and all those sorts of things. But it's not just homeowners or perhaps, water blast the batch or whatever that looks like for you, but also for church communities as well. Talking about the importance of maintenance and perhaps even renovation for our churches, Senior Leader from Christian Savings, Andy Milne, joins me on the program now. Andy, kia ora, good morning.
Hi, Andrew. Great to talk to you.
When it comes to, I suppose, the maintenance of the church property, something which we've talked about beforehand is good governance. And this is part of that stewardship, I suppose. For most churches, their largest financial asset is their building. We need to make sure that in due diligence we're maintaining that to a high standard.
Look, that's quite right, Andrew. And it's something that's often put on the back burner in churches is property maintenance. Because look, let's face it, in the church, we want to be spending our money on staff and on ministry, those type of things. So things like new carpet, paint, roof repairs, etc. They can be deemed, less. They're important, but they're often less urgent than other competing priorities that we have. But as we know from if you're a homeowner, you often know that deferring those routine maintenance things can often lead to large expenses down the track. So, look, it's really important, as you say, from a governance perspective, best practice looks like having a long-term maintenance plan, a long-term property plan with regular maintenance of those church assets. Because, as we know, it just creates expensive headaches down the track if these matters aren't attended to.
And now, if there's a particular event, if there's floods, if there's an earthquake or something goes wrong, that's another area where we may need not just maintenance but a bit of a rebuild. But even when all is good, I suppose, even when it seems okay, it's just a little bit. Looking a little bit more tired than it normally does, it's important to have it in the budget, have it in the plan?
That's right, because as the old saying goes, the time to fix your roof is when the sun is shining, and that's very true in a church context. I think it's important to note that over time, and if we see this a lot in churches, that over time as these issues are left, we'll defer that repainting for another year. Look, we'll repair the deck next year, that kind of thing. It has a number of issues around, health and safety for our congregations, but also when we think about church growth, it does have impacts on creating a welcoming or attractive environment for new Christians or new church members, which can, accelerate, if a church is struggling with church membership, those little things which can be seen to be less important, those things do stack up.
And hey, it's a little bit chicken and egg, really, isn't it? And some people go, well, we haven't got the money to do that, but can you afford not to? And actually, this is an area where Christian Savings may be able to help, is certainly borrowing money in order to maintain the church or to do renovations or development is a better use of money. As you say, deferred maintenance often leads to larger bills later.
Well, that's right. Preventative maintenance, those kind of things are really important. There are sort of probably three main ways, I guess, that churches have taken on large, renovation projects as required before. So churches have sometimes subdivided and sold off land in order to reinvest that capital into renovations for the church building. Fundraising drives, obviously, are very common and still very popular and important way of raising funds, but also debt as well. And for the right project, debt to replace or renovate a capital asset can be a very good way of taking if you look at a new roof, that's going to have a 20 to 50 year lifespan. So taking out debt to spread that cost out over time is often quite a smart way of covering that cost.
In terms of renovation, because it's not just the repair and maintenance, but also perhaps the needs of the congregation, the needs of the community have changed over time. Perhaps the church building no longer fit for purpose for the type of ministry you're now involved with?
Well, that's right. And a lot of churches that are blessed with growing congregations and changing demographic patterns, they are looking to expand or reorient the church building, build church halls, that type of thing. But, church design and ministries have come a long way in the last probably 40 to 50 years. So, a church that's built today looks very different from a church built in the 1950s. Just like our houses have changed, our houses of worship have changed too. So a lot of exciting things going on in that space too, Andrew.
That's part of the challenge, I suppose, particularly for older churches or older church buildings, higher maintenance bills, and again trying to adapt what was the original church structure to fit a more a modern style of worship and church as a part of the community. Certainly some big challenges for churches, even if they're just a few decades old.
Well, that's right. And, some of those maintenance things, can have big impacts on running costs. So, things that you don't see up front, better insulation in the walls and floors, etc., are going to have a huge impact on your power bills. We've got a number of churches putting solar systems to run power and hot water, those kind of things. Again, long-term thinking, higher costs up front maybe, but longer-term thinking, future-proofing the church for future generations.
When it comes to having a conversation about this, if the church is saying, hey, this is something we've put off for too long, this is something which we really need to get some advice in. I know that many churches have teams where they're able to say, hey, this is what's worked for us, so let's share advice, or maybe there's a particular architecture firm that does work for a denomination. There's good advice out there. There's practical support. Churches don't need to go it alone.
Absolutely. So churches that have the benefit of a wider denominational structure or diocesan structure, their head office teams, I guess, for want of a better word, have a lot of experience now in property management, property maintenance programming, that type of thing. So that's very helpful. But also, reach out to other churches. Independent churches can, we'd be welcome to, they'd be welcome to contact us. We can share ideas and best practice that we've seen across our client base. There's a lot of advice out there, Andrew, for sure.
And if people wanted to find out more about perhaps borrowing some money for deferred maintenance or renovation, again, Christian Savings can help there and certainly start a conversation, point them in the right direction.
Absolutely, we can, Andrew. So we'd encourage people to jump on our website, christiansavings.co.nz, and contact us directly to chat through some options.
Andy, thanks so much for the work that you do at Christian Savings. Thanks for joining us today.
Pleasure. Thanks, Andrew.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.